Hello and welcome back. We've got a bit of a different video for you today. Still a bit outdoorsy and definitely a bit of a build. Our youngest is really into engineering and construction, and he gets a lot of his inspiration from some of the great crafts people on YouTube. So today he wants to make a tin can barbecue. A while ago he managed to build a small vertical one from a couple of old fizzy drink cans, but now he wants to take it up a level and build a mini barrel style barbecue. So he and Dad on a mission are on a bit of a metalwork and father-son bonding mission today. I'm relegated to parts procurement and videographer. I've managed to persuade the youngest that he'll have more success at sustaining a fire if he uses a fairly sizable can rather than a simple tin of normal sized beans. However, we haven't got a cash and carry pass for one of those whole Scout Troop sized tins of beans, so we've chosen the biggest thing that Sainsbury's had in stock, so it's a tin of new potatoes for the grand sum of 78p, which is to be sacrificed. After angle grinding a slot in the top, the liquid surrounding the potatoes gets drained out, so that in the next step the garage doesn't get totally soaked. It's a bit of a weird and smelly job actually. I never knew canned potatoes smelled so bad. Next job is to expand the slot with the angle grinder to 3 sides of the can so that potatoes can be removed. Then with 3 edges cut we can open the can enough to get the potatoes out, being really careful not to touch the cut edges. Originally I thought we might rescue the potatoes, but I have to say they smell absolutely disgusting, as well as a couple of burnt bits of course where the sparks of the metal shards have touched them, so these are straight to the food composting bin, unfortunately. And then finish cutting to split the can into 2 symmetrical sides. At this point the can edges are absolutely lethal, so they need filing and sanding down by an adult. There are going to be 3 legs so that the barbecue can be stable on any surface, and the legs are going to be made from some old threaded rod we've got lying around. This has been cut into lengths and then the ends filed rather rapidly. You could also use long threaded bolts either with the heads on the inside of the drum and a single nut outside, or if you wanted some sort of design with funky bigger feet, then you could choose a bolt with a large head that isn't threaded down the entire length, and then 2 nuts at the threaded end which would go into the barbecue to hold it into place. Obviously the legs will come out of the can at an angle, so really careful measuring and marking is needed to ensure that it's all level when it's standing up, and that the legs are neither too far apart or too close together. And then drill holes for the legs to go through and assemble it all. Although the edges were filed earlier, it's still a good idea to treat them as if they were sharp, so gloves are the order of the day. legs so it can't wobble. Maybe wobble.
Well, it's going to have more weight here.
Yes.
Right, let's get add these piano hinge and then whittle it on.
To transform this into a proper barrel barbecue instead of just an open one, a lid's going to be made from the other side of the cut can, and this needs to be reattached. In this case we're using a bit of old piano hinge, again cut to length with the angle grinder and filed to remove the worst of the sharp bits. This can then be marked, pilot holes drilled in the can, and then the hinge riveted into place. The rivets can be tidied up with a bit of persuasion from a hammer. Then, after a bit more filing, just in case, the barbecue is finished off with a smaller nut and bolt as a lid handle.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, one mini barrel barbecue complete. Let's find some wood chips. Then it's time for the little pyromaniac to see if he can get his barbecue lit with a flint and steel, a ball of cotton wool soaked in some petroleum jelly, and some wood shavings. I've challenged him to get a fire going before he's allowed a bit of charcoal. After a couple of warm-ups, he manages it. It certainly won't be keeping all four of us well fed, but it was a great little project for the youngest and Dad on a mission to work on together, and something I think the youngest will be bragging to his mates about for ages.
These tongs aren't black.
Good. Well, you're going to be washing them in a minute. I hope you enjoyed our little summary. Remember to stay safe if you decide to try something like this yourselves. Our personal philosophy is that it's great to get kids involved in this sort of practical stuff, but it's also really important to make sure they're taught the importance of keeping themselves safe, workshop best practice and safe tool usage, and never to use any tools without supervision. We think it's better for them to know about these things and how to keep themselves safe than it is for them not to know about these things and have accidents later in life, or when they're feeling a bit curious about forbidden stuff. But all that takes a massive amount of time, so don't embark on a project like this if you haven't got the time or, more importantly, the patience to put that foundational work in first. Thanks for joining us. Please subscribe to follow more of our adventures, and we'll see you in the next one.
It's still very hot.
Is it? Good.
Just because it's small doesn't mean it can't be hot.
Nice?
I'm a lot more.